Yesterday, a man Trump himself appointed, confirmed by the Senate, a Green Beret who served 11 combat tours, a Gold Star husband, resigned from the highest counterterrorism post in America. And in his resignation letter, he said 4 words that are shaking Washington to score right now. Iran posed no imminent threat. Now, this person isn't from the Democratic Party. He's not a protester. That is Trump's own intelligence director for counterterrorism walking out of the door and saying publicly this war shouldn't have been started. And while that's happening, the Supreme Court stopped and stepped in to protect 356 Haitians and Syrian immigrants from deportation. For now. You want to stay until the end to see how all these are connected? We're going to be covering it. So let me introduce to you who Joe Kent is, because understanding who he is makes what he did even more significant, I would say. He's a former Green Beret. He served in the U.S. Army for 20 years and completed nearly a dozen combat deployments. He received 6 Bronze Star medals. He later worked as a paramilitary officer for the CIA. He was a vocal and public supporter of President Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024. He was confirmed by the Senate as the director of National Counterterrorism Center, the agency that advises both the president and the director of national intelligence on terrorism threats, by a vote of 52 to 44 last July. This is not someone who came to Washington to make waves. This is a Trump loyalist with combat scars, okay? And a security clearance. And yesterday, he quit. In his resignation letter he posted on X, Kent wrote, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." I have it here on the screen. Read it if you like. Pause the video. While you're at it, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Now, he further went on, said he wrote that, to this administration early. High-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed what he called a misinformation campaign that undermined Trump's America First platform. And that is an echo chamber that was used to deceive the president into believing Iran posed an imminent threat. He called it the same tactic used to draw Americans into Iraq war. And then he wrote something deeply personal. His wife, Shannon, a Navy cryptologist, who was killed in a terrorist bombing in Syria back in 2019, he referenced her death directly into the letter, writing, "As a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people nor justifies the cost of American life." So this man who buried his wife a while ago of a war from the Middle East, and he's saying that we're making the same mistake again. Now, I want to, be fair in what I report. We're not going to try to pick sides, but you, as a logical human being, know what the truth is, right? So, Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, responded by saying the claim that the Iran posed no threat was insulting and laughable. Trump himself told reporters that Kent was a nice guy, but very weak on security, and called the resignation a good thing. Tulsi Gabbard, director of national intelligence and Kent's direct boss, said in a statement that it's the president's responsibility to determine what is and not imminent threat, and that after reviewing all available information, Trump concluded Iran posed one and acted accordingly. But here's the detail that is going to follow this administration for a long time. Kent met with Vice President J.D. Vance the day before his resignation in a room that included Gabbard, laid out exactly what he was why he was stepping down, walked out anyway, and Vance encouraged him to speak to Trump chiefs of staff first. Kent submitting this he submitted his resignation regardless of that conversation that happened. So he's the first and only prominent Trump administration official to resign over this war. One White House official privately told reporters that they believe this is going to be a trend of other officials stepping away. And Gabbard, she's scheduled to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee today, the 18th, which is happening right now. The same Tulsi Gabbard who 6 years ago said publicly that all-out war in Iran would make Iraq and Afghanistan look like a picnic. She has not posted about Iran on her social media accounts since the strikes began on the 28th of February, not once. So I want to ask you, my beloved people, if the people whose entire jobs was to assess terrorism threats, who had access to every single classified briefing, you can say, is saying that there's no imminent threat, what does this tell you about why this war started? And who should be answering that question? Okay? Now, let's talk about something maybe a little bit lighter to kind of hearten or lighten our moods. We've been covering TPS and how Somali TPS has been put on pause and other countries are waiting for their TPS to be on pause. Now, 356,000 Haitians who were covered under TPS over the last 2 weeks have gotten a breakthrough. On Monday, the Supreme Court stepped in. The Supreme Court temporarily blocked Trump's administration from deporting about 6,000 Syrians and 356,000 Haitians who hold temporary protected status (TPS). At the same time, the court expedited arguments, setting oral arguments for late April, with decisions expected to be by the end of June. So what does that really mean, Anissa? You're just talking in jargons right now. We're not understanding. If you are someone you know holds Haitian or Syrian TPS, your status right now is protected. You cannot be deported while the order is in place. Your work authorization remains valid, but that is not permanent. The Supreme Court is going to hear this case and make a final decision by the end of June. I know it looks like it's far away, but it's gonna come. And this court has handed has been siding with the Trump administration on TPS for quite some time now. So Haitians Haiti had this TPS since 2010, following the catastrophic earthquake that killed over 300 people, right? The program has been extended multiple times since through political assassination and annihilations, gang violence, and economic collapses. Former DHS Secretary Norm announced the termination of Haiti's TPS effective 3rd of February of this year. A federal judge had blocked that one, finding that the decision was likely motivated by what she described as racial discrimination, basically, racial animus. This is the first time you can say the Supreme Court has not immediately granted the Trump administration's request to go ahead and end TPS protective status while a case is being litigated, okay? As we know, Trump administration is currently seeking to end TPS, protecting other people from 13 countries. Right now, we know Somalia's one is on pause, but we have Myanmar, Nepal, Honduras, Nicaragua, Afghanistan, Cameroon, Yemen, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Venezuela, Haiti, and Syria, which are on pause as well. The Supreme Court decision in June will likely set the precedent for all of them together. So, here's what I need every TPS holder and every family connected to someone with TPS to understand. The clock is running out. June is not far away, as I mentioned. This is the time to speak to an immigration attorney about whether you have any other pathways to legal status, U.S. citizenship spouse, a U.S. citizen spouse, U.S. citizen children, a pending petition, anything that would not you don't depend solely on TPS. Okay? Do not wait for June to find out what the court decides. And the war in the war in Iran and Israel and US is about day 19 right now. Iranian's intelligence minister was killed overnight. Israel confirmed it. Iran has confirmed it as well. He was the second senior Iranian intelligence official killed in just 2 weeks. Gas remains above 370. The Hormuz remains effectively closed. Allies are still not sending warships, and the question of those of us who can't even negotiate with is, or who US is trying to negotiate is, who is the supreme leader? Is he injured? Is he alive? No one really knows. No answer. Day 19, no exit plan in sight. Stay informed, stay grounded, and share this video with someone who needs to understand what's actually happening right now. Be sure to subscribe. I leave you all in the care of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.